One of the core concepts of object oriented programming is the notion of inheritance. And in this example, we're going to see how that works in Python. Inheritance defines a way for a given class to inherit attributes and methods from one or more base classes. This makes it easy to centralize common functionality and data in one place instead of having it spread out and duplicated across multiple classes. Let's go ahead and open up our inheritance_start file. And in this example, you can see that I have three classes. There's a book, magazine, and newspaper class. Each one of these classes represents a type of publication, and each of them has a set of attributes that are relevant to that publication type. So books have a title and a price, along with the author's name and their number of pages. A newspaper also has a title and a price, but they are published on a periodical basis and have a publisher instead of an author. Magazines have a title and price too, and have a recurring publishing period and a publisher. And you can also see down here that there's some code that creates each kind of object and then accesses some data on each of them. So let's go ahead and run this as is. All right, and you can see that in the output, we have the book's author, which is this line of code right here. We have the newspaper publisher's name, and then the prices of each one. Now, at the moment, each of these is a standalone implementation of its own class. But let's go back to the code, and you can see that there's a considerable amount of duplication among the data that each class holds. So, for example, all three classes have attributes for title and price, and the newspaper and magazine classes also have the same attributes for period and publisher. So we can improve the organization of these classes and make it easier to introduce new classes by implementing some inheritance and class hierarchy. So let's start with the most obvious duplication, which is the title and price attributes. So one way we can handle this is by defining a new base class called publication, and then have that class define some common attributes. So I'll put my init function in here, and we'll give that a title and price parameters. And then we'll just set self.title equals to title, and then the same thing for price. All right, so now we can fix the book class and have it inherit from the publication class. And I'm going to put the name of the base class in the parentheses here. And now what we need to do is call the superclasses init function. And then we can just take off the title and price and then just have the book specific attributes in the book class. Now, we could do the same thing with newspaper and magazine classes, but there's some duplication here too. Both of these classes have period and publisher attributes, so that's a pretty good hint that we can collect those in a superclass too. So let's go ahead and make another base class, and we'll call this one periodical, and we'll have that class based on publication. And then once again, we'll create the init, and a periodical will have its self, title, price, period, and publisher. So then we call the superclasses init for the title and the price. And then we'll have the periodical class define the period and the publisher. All right, so let's go ahead and save that. Okay, so now we have a class hierarchy with publication at the top, and book inherits from that. And then we have periodical, and then that inherits from publication as well. And now we have to fix magazine and publisher to inherit from periodical. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we have the base classes, and what we're going to do is call the superclass to init each of these, and we'll pass in the title, price, period, and publisher. And then we no longer need these. And then I can just do the same thing here for the newspaper class. All right. So now we should be able to run our original code that creates these objects and accesses the data without any changes. So let's go ahead and try that. And when I execute the code, you can see that the output is the same as before. So we're getting the same results, but with much better code organization, which is one of the main benefits of inheritance. So I can now add properties that are specific to each kind of publication just in one place. And I only have one place to edit them if I want to change the names of any of these attributes going forward.